It's never easy to even think about losing someone we love, especially when that someone is an elder who has quietly shaped our lives. Our parents, our grandparents, or maybe even that kind neighbor who's been part of our story for as long as we can remember. But life, in its quiet way, sometimes sends us soft warnings. Not loud, not obvious, just small changes, barely noticeable shifts in how they move, how they eat, or the way they speak. These are the whispers of the body, hinting that someone we care about deeply may be approaching their final year. Most people imagine that the end comes suddenly, like flipping a switch. But for many older adults, it's more like a slow dimming of light. Their bodies begin to speak in a quiet language, one that's easy to miss if we're not paying attention. Maybe it's a sudden disinterest in favorite activities, a softer voice, or a sense that they're not fully here like they used to be. These aren't just signs of aging. Sometimes, they're the body's gentle way of preparing for goodbye. When we learn to recognize these changes, we don't just prepare ourselves. We create space for comfort, for peace, and for love to step forward when it's needed most. So many families carry quiet regrets, not because they didn't care, but because the signs were so subtle. The changes creep in slowly, so slowly that they get brushed off as just getting old. But there's a difference between aging and fading. If your mother, who once loved chatting over tea, now seems withdrawn and barely eats, it might be more than age. If your grandfather stops telling his favorite stories, no longer joins family dinners, or forgets people he used to light up for, those things carry meaning. They may not scream for your attention, but they do speak. Now, this isn't to say that everyone who shows these signs is in their final year, but that's exactly why we must pay attention. These gentle changes are like soft nudges, a quiet invitation to slow down, to be present, and to show up more fully. Maybe it's the moment to have the conversations we've been putting off, to say what matters, to forgive, to hold hands more often. Being aware doesn't mean giving up hope. It means meeting reality with an open heart and making the most of whatever time is left. So if you've noticed changes, maybe in their habits, their mood, or their energy, it might be time to pause. Look a little closer. Sometimes the body whispers, and if we're too busy, we might miss what it's trying to say. In the next few moments, we'll explore 5 quiet but meaningful signs that might tell us someone is in the final chapter of their life. They're not always easy to spot, but once you see them, you can respond not with fear, but with love, patience, and a deeper sense of care. And if what you're hearing right now is opening your eyes or your heart, please consider subscribing to this channel. We talk about real-life things here, about aging, caregiving, emotional healing, and staying connected through the harder seasons of life. Our goal is to help you navigate these moments with wisdom and heart, so you never feel alone in this journey. Now, let's gently step into the first sign. One of the most tender, yet powerful signs that an older adult may be nearing the end of life is a steady decline in energy. Not just being tired every now and then, but a deeper, more constant kind of slowing down. You might notice them sleeping much longer than before, choosing rest over routines, and spending entire days sitting quietly. Tasks that once seemed second nature, folding clothes, watering plants, chatting on the phone, suddenly feel like too much. Their pace becomes slower, movements more cautious. Even conversations can feel like a strain. They might pause in the middle of a sentence, searching for the right words, or simply trying to gather the energy to continue. It's not laziness, and it's not giving up. Often, it's the body quietly conserving what little strength it has left. At first, you might not think much of it. After all, don't we all slow down with age? But this is different. You might notice them struggling to get out of a chair they once stood from with ease. They may start skipping meals, not because they're not hungry, but because eating itself takes effort they no longer have. Even walking to the kitchen can feel like climbing a mountain. And then there's the emotional distance that can come with this fatigue. Your loved one might seem like they're pulling away, not just physically, but emotionally too. The laughter that once filled the room becomes rare. The eyes that used to light up with recognition now seem far off, lost in thought, or tired beyond words. Even their favorite TV show or music might not hold their attention anymore. It's heartbreaking to see that spark, that liveliness, slowly fading. And yet, it's also a sacred moment, because when we notice it, we can begin to truly be there. We can sit beside them more, listen with care, hold their hand, even if no words are spoken. These quiet acts, simple as they may seem, often mean the world to someone whose body is whispering goodbye. Many people who are close to someone in this stage often find themselves saying things like, "They've changed so much these last few months," or "It's like they're here, but not really present." And more often than not, that's exactly what's happening. Their world is slowly beginning to shrink. Their focus turns inward. The energy they once shared with the outside world is being drawn back inside. It's not something to fear, but it is something to notice. When you see this kind of shift, this deep drop in energy, it's not a sign to push harder or urge them to stay active. It's a time to lean into gentleness, to sit beside them, to be still, to hold their hand without needing to fix anything. In these quiet moments, your presence becomes more powerful than any words. Watching someone you love slow down like this can feel like your heart is breaking in slow motion. But recognizing what's happening gives you a beautiful kind of strength. It allows you to meet them with tenderness instead of panic, patience instead of frustration. It gives you time to say what matters, to create small moments of comfort, and to walk alongside them through this tender season with grace, not fear. Now let's move to the second sign, one that can seem small at first, but carries great meaning. Another quiet, yet deeply meaningful sign that an elderly person may be in their final year is a sudden loss of appetite and noticeable weight loss. This change is often misunderstood. Families might assume their loved one is just being fussy, or that it's a temporary phase. But what's really happening is more profound. As the body nears its natural end, it starts to slow down systems it no longer needs, starting with digestion. Food, once a source of joy and connection, begins to lose its appeal. Eating becomes a chore, not because they're stubborn, not because they're upset, but because the body is slowly letting go. You may begin to notice uneaten meals, favorite snacks untouched, or drinks left half finished. They might only ask for soup or soft foods, or nothing at all. They may say that things taste strange, or that food doesn't taste like it used to. Even drinking water might feel like too much effort. These changes may seem minor, but they speak volumes. The body is quietly shifting. It no longer seeks nourishment the same way. It begins to draw energy from itself instead of asking for more from the outside. It's nature's way of easing the body into rest. And then the weight loss comes. You might notice their clothes hanging a little looser, their hands or face becoming thinner. Sometimes it's a slow fade. Other times, it feels like it happens overnight. Someone might gently whisper, "They've gotten so skinny," and it sinks in. The body is pulling from its final reserves. This is not something that can be reversed with a favorite dessert or a new recipe. It's not stubbornness. It's part of the body's quiet goodbye. Understandably, this change brings worry. Watching someone you love eat less, grow weaker, it stirs up deep emotions. You may feel helpless or even angry because you just want to help. But what's needed now is compassion, not pressure. Instead of insisting they eat, focus on comfort. Offer sips of water, their favorite pudding, if they ask for it. Sit close. Be still with them. Sometimes the best care isn't nutritional, it's emotional. Doctors and caregivers often say, at this stage, it's not about pushing back against nature. It's about flowing with it, giving peace where you can, offering warmth and calm, letting love fill the space where food no longer does. So if your loved one begins refusing meals or losing weight, try not to panic. Try not to take it personally. It's not your failure. It's a part of the process. What matters now is making the most of these days, bringing comfort through presence, not pressure. And sometimes, the most meaningful moments happen in silence. A quiet hand on theirs, a soft smile, a shared memory. These become part of the farewell, not loud, not dramatic, but deep and unforgettable. The third sign, subtle, yet deeply important, is a growing sense of confusion, memory loss, or changes in how your loved one connects with others. These shifts might not be dramatic at first, but they're often more than just senior moments. They touch the mind, the heart, and sometimes even the spirit. You may notice they start forgetting familiar names or asking the same question over and over. They might misplace common objects, like putting shoes in the kitchen or the remote in the fridge. You might hear them ask, "What time is it?" Or "Where are we?" even though you just answered. These signs can be subtle at first, especially if they come and go, but they speak to something deeper happening inside. One especially common pattern is confusion that worsens in the evening, a condition often called sundowning. As the day fades, their sense of orientation might begin to blur. They may seem more agitated or anxious. You might notice restlessness, irritability, or even fear when night falls. Sometimes they talk to people who aren't there or speak in ways that feel disconnected from the moment. They might recall old memories from decades ago, as if they just happened yesterday, their mind reaching back while slowly letting go of the present. Emotional shifts can also take hold. A once gentle and patient person might become easily frustrated or unexpectedly distant. Tasks that were once simple might bring confusion, and confusion can bring fear. That fear sometimes turns to anger or withdrawal. They might stare into space, speak less, or seem like they're looking through you rather than at you. It's not that they don't care anymore. Often, it's the brain quietly beginning to close its windows one by one. This stage can be incredibly painful to witness. Seeing someone you love fade in and out of awareness, or forget your name, is a heartbreak that words can barely touch. But it's also a sacred invitation to love even more deeply, to meet them where they are. Speak softly, say their name, hold their hand, play music they once loved. Even if they don't respond like they used to, your presence still brings comfort in ways you might not see. Somewhere deep inside, they still feel your love. These mental and emotional changes aren't always easy to accept, but they're often a gentle part of the body and mind preparing to rest. When their world starts to blur, when memories float in and out like dreams, it's not always frightening for them. It's often harder for us. But with understanding and compassion, you can create a space of peace where they can feel safe, loved, and respected for who they are in this very moment. If this is resonating with you, if it's helping you better understand someone you care for, please consider subscribing to this channel. We're here to offer real, simple, human guidance on the emotional journey of aging and caregiving. It's never easy, but you don't have to go through it alone. Now let's move gently into the fourth sign. Another quiet but powerful signal that a loved one may be nearing their final year is social withdrawal. You may notice that they begin pulling away from family dinners, skipping phone calls, or spending more time alone. At first, it might seem like they're just tired, but this disconnection runs deeper. It's often not about mood or circumstance. It's about the body and spirit slowly turning inward. There was a time when they looked forward to visitors, to chatting with friends, to watching their favorite shows with others. But now, those same activities seem to take too much energy. They may no longer seem interested in birthdays or holidays. The things that used to light them up, the joy of laughter, the rhythm of conversation, start to fade. Some stop replying to messages or avoid answering the phone, not out of neglect or coldness, but because even the smallest interactions can feel overwhelming. This step back can look like depression, but it isn't always sadness. In many cases, it's a peaceful process of letting go, a quiet goodbye to the noise of daily life. Their focus shifts from the outside world to something more internal. They might spend hours looking out the window, deep in thought, or drifting between sleep and stillness. You may see them choosing silence over conversation, solitude over company. And for those who love them, this can be incredibly hard to accept. You might wonder, did I do something wrong? Or why don't they want to talk to me anymore? But please know, this withdrawal isn't a rejection. It's a part of the natural process of winding down. It's the body and mind preserving energy for what matters most. It's their quiet way of finding peace. In these moments, it's important not to force interaction. Instead, meet them where they are. If they want to sit in silence, sit with them. If they're not up for talking, just hold their hand. Read a book nearby. Play soft music. Share the stillness. Your presence, even in quiet, can be a source of great comfort. This kind of emotional retreat is one of the gentlest signs that time may be growing short. It's not always loud or clear, but it's real. And if you can embrace it with love, not fear, it becomes a space filled with meaning. A space where goodbyes don't always need words, where love is spoken through presence, through touch, and through the simple act of being there. Instead of trying to pull them back into activity or conversation, sometimes the best thing you can do is simply sit beside them. Offer your presence without pressure. Hold their hand, smile, or play gentle music they used to love. These quiet moments often speak louder than words. Your calm and loving energy can be a great source of comfort, even if they don't express it openly. When you notice this kind of withdrawal, it's a sign to pause, be present, and listen with your heart. It may be their way of preparing, not just for goodbye, but for peace. Understanding this allows you to walk beside them gently, without fear, and with more love than ever before. Another gentle but meaningful sign that an elderly person may be in their final year is a strong withdrawal from social life and everyday conversations. You may notice they no longer want to join family dinners, avoid phone calls, or prefer to sit quietly in their room instead of participating in group activities. This isn't just about being tired or moody. It's a deeper kind of emotional disconnection. Many times, it feels like they're slowly letting go of the outside world, turning inward, and preparing themselves in their own quiet way. In the past, your loved one might have looked forward to visits, enjoyed chatting with neighbors, or taken pleasure in small social moments like watching TV with others or talking about the news. But now, those same things may seem to drain them. They may stop showing interest in birthdays, holidays, or even in conversations they once loved. Some may stop responding to messages, not out of rudeness, but because even simple communication begins to feel overwhelming or unnecessary. Silence becomes their comfort zone. This stage of withdrawal can sometimes look like depression, but it's not always about sadness. In many cases, it's a natural part of the body and soul beginning to rest. It's like a quiet farewell to the world, a slow retreat from the noise and motion of daily life. Their focus starts to shift, away from the outside and more toward their thoughts, their memories, or even a kind of spiritual peace. You might find them staring out of the window for long periods, not speaking much, or sleeping more often than they're awake. For family members, this change can feel confusing or even hurtful. You might wonder, why don't they want to talk to me anymore? Or, are they upset about something? But it's important to understand that this step inward is not personal. It's a quiet process that many elderly people go through when their body knows time is limited. It's their way of finding peace, slowing down, and protecting their remaining energy for what really matters. Instead of trying to pull them back into activity or conversation, sometimes the best thing you can do is simply sit beside them. Offer your presence without pressure. Hold their hand, smile, or play gentle music they used to love. These quiet moments often speak louder than words. Your calm and loving energy can be a great source of comfort, even if they don't express it openly. When you notice this kind of withdrawal, it's a sign to pause, be present, and listen with your heart. It may be their way of preparing, not just for goodbye, but for peace. Understanding this allows you to walk beside them gently, without fear, and with more love than ever before. The fifth subtle but powerful sign that an elderly person may be in their final year is changes in breathing patterns and overall body function. These changes are often overlooked because they seem mild at first, but they carry important meaning. You may notice that their breathing becomes slower, more shallow, or sometimes irregular. There might be long pauses between breaths, or moments where their chest rises and falls in a different rhythm than before. These aren't always signs of illness. They could be the body's way of preparing for rest, slowly and naturally. You might also notice their voice becoming softer or weaker, as if talking requires more effort. They may speak less often, and when they do, their words might come out slowly or faintly. Some may even begin to slur their words or lose track of a sentence. It's not always due to confusion. Sometimes it's because their muscles, including those used for speech, are gradually losing strength. Their body temperature may change too. You may find their hands and feet are colder than usual, or their skin may appear pale or slightly bluish. They might complain of feeling cold even when the room is warm. These signs usually mean that circulation is slowing down. It's not something to fear. It's a part of the natural process of the body conserving energy and slowly preparing for rest. Other physical signs can include a sudden drop in blood pressure, less urine output, or the body retaining fluid, leading to slight swelling in the hands, feet, or face. Digestion slows down as well, so you might notice they feel bloated or uncomfortable after even a small meal. Their skin may become more fragile, and wounds might take longer to heal. These are not just random issues. They are signals that the body is winding down its functions gently, step by step. Some elderly people may also begin to sleep almost all the time, waking only for a few moments before drifting off again. Others may experience short periods of clarity, times when they suddenly become alert, speak clearly, or share important thoughts, only to grow quiet again shortly after. These moments are often precious. Many families say they had some of their most meaningful conversations during these final moments of clarity. Seeing these changes can be emotionally overwhelming, but knowing what they mean helps you respond with more calm and care. It's a chance to make your loved one's environment peaceful. Soft blankets, dim lights, quiet sounds, and a gentle presence. This is the time to speak softly, offer reassurance, and hold their hand, letting them know they're not alone. Every breath, every small movement, and every moment spent together becomes meaningful. When you see the body gently changing in this way, it's a reminder to honor the time that remains, not with fear, but with love, respect, and deep appreciation for every heartbeat. When we look at all these signs together, extreme tiredness, loss of appetite, confusion and memory changes, emotional withdrawal, and changes in breathing and body function, they form a quiet, gentle message from the body and soul. It's not always loud or sudden, but it speaks clearly to those who are paying attention. These are not just signs of old age. They are part of a natural process, a journey toward peace, where the body slowly lets go while the heart prepares for what comes next. Understanding these signs can help families stop rushing, stop guessing, and start truly being present. It reminds us to let go of small complaints, to stop waiting for a better time, and start making each day special. It's in these final months, weeks, or even days that we get the chance to show our deepest love, not with grand actions, but with quiet care, holding their hand, listening without interrupting, saying the words we often say for too late. I love you, thank you, and I'm here. This time is not just about loss. It's also about honor. It's a sacred opportunity to walk with someone through their final journey with dignity, compassion, and warmth. By recognizing the signs early, we can offer more peace, less panic, and make sure our loved ones are never alone in their final moments. And if you found this message meaningful and want to learn more about how to lovingly care for your elders during their most delicate time, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Together, we can spread knowledge, care, and kindness for every family going through this emotional path. If this video touched your heart or helped you understand something new about the final stages of life, then please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support means everything. It helps us reach more people who need comfort, knowledge, and gentle guidance during these emotional times. And when you subscribe, you become part of a community that values love, respect, and care for our elders. Hit the bell icon too, so you never miss a video that could make a difference in someone's life, even your own.